American Airlines Flight 379 took off from New York to Denver at exactly 11 p.m. Everyone on board was relaxed, a couple taking selfies, an old man reading philosophy, a mother putting her child to sleep, and teenagers lost in their music. The cabin felt warm, peaceful, normal. At 11:47 p.m., the lights flickered for 3 seconds. A freezing cold spread through the cabin, so cold that passengers began wearing their jackets. Their breath turned into mist, as if everyone had suddenly stepped into a freezer. The crew tried to stay calm, saying it was just an air conditioning issue. But their worried eyes told a different story. Rebecca, a young flight attendant, walked to the back of the plane to check the temperature. 2 seconds passed, then a scream, sharp enough to tear through every heartbeat, echoed down the aisle. Jonathan Reed was the first to unbuckle his seatbelt. He slowly walked toward the curtain at the back. There was darkness, but the faint cabin glow revealed something he would never forget. Rebecca was hanging in mid-air, as if someone invisible was holding her up like a puppet. Her eyes were pure white, her body stiff, and stuck to her neck was a thick black shadow, feeding. Then came a crack. Her neck snapped violently, and her body dropped to the floor like a lifeless doll. Panic erupted across the cabin. People screamed, cried, clung to their seats. The lights went out completely. The plane sank into absolute darkness. In that darkness, the first sound that echoed was a low, inhuman growl. Then the sound of someone's neck twisting. Then another. Then a third. Passengers turned on their phone flashlights, and everyone who switched one on saw the same thing. A half-burned creature, black as ash, with hollow pits for eyes, and a tongue long enough to reach a human face. It moved slowly, silently, freezing the air around it, and every time it passed by someone, it grabbed their throat and snapped it in one effortless motion. Jonathan hid in the very last row, crouched behind his duffel bag. Bodies were falling all around him. People were choking, screaming, praying. But he remained completely still. Maybe that is why the creature didn't notice him. There came a moment when the cabin fell silent. Only the engines hummed, and the creature slurped loudly as it drank warm blood from the dead. A scream rose from the cockpit. Another crack. Then silence again. The plane tilted hard to the left. Jonathan felt the aircraft diving toward the Colorado mountains. People flew from their seats, smashing into the ceiling, tumbling over each other as the aircraft broke apart in the clouds. When the plane hit the ground, everything exploded. Metal tore open, flames engulfed the wreckage, bodies burned black. But Jonathan walked out without so much as a scratch. The world called him a miracle survivor. Doctors said it was impossible, but Jonathan knew the truth. The creature spared him. It wanted a witness, a messenger, someone who could carry its story into the world. For a full year, Jonathan stayed silent. Every night he heard the same sound in his ears, that horrible slurping, that cracking of bones. Whenever he saw a plane crossing the sky, his body shook uncontrollably. Exactly 1 year later, he finally agreed to tell the world what happened. He sat down for a live interview. The host was laughing, calling it a ghost story. Viewers typed fake in the comments. But Jonathan's eyes were filled with death. Mid-show, The studio lights flickered for 3 seconds, the same way they had on the plane. Jonathan froze. His lips trembled. His eyes widened in terror as he stared at something floating behind the cameras. And then his neck slowly began to twist on live television. The host screamed. Doctors ran in. The camera shook violently. One final loud crack. Jonathan's neck snapped. In the corner of a single broadcast frame, a black shadow drifted upward, then vanished. Officials called it a medical collapse, but the world knows better. Whatever hunted Flight 379 was in that studio. And even today, pilots say that sometimes when a plane enters the clouds, a black, burning shadow flies beside the wings, sometimes near the tail, sometimes right outside the passenger window. It always comes with flickering lights, and when it appears, only one person survives. The rest become part of its hunger. Maybe next time you board a plane, it will choose you. Or maybe your neck will be the first one it snaps.